Hello, my name is Alan. This is an informal interview with Paule Daniels, one of the most famous magicians ever, on primetime TV for over 2 decades, often commanding over 15 million viewers. I hope you enjoy.
In your area, but we do the forum for Sir Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Been doing it a year. He has got a lot of members now, about 18,000, but you've got a hardcore, as always, that are regularly there. Yeah. But he answers questions every month, and we get around 4,000 now log in during the month to read the replies.
Yeah. I've gone kind of the same route in that I decided, I had a look on the internet, what's kind of popular.
Blogs I've looked at, yeah.
So I thought, well, in the last, it's only been going about, I can't remember, 2 months tops. There's 20,000 hits on it.
Did you?
Yeah. So now I'm starting to talk about my internet shop.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah.
Because any link is good.
It does build up, and his has run for 14 months. We logged it. We started off with 2,500 people in a month. It's built to up to 20-some thousand now.
Yeah.
So, and his site gets quite a lot. So it has built up.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do anything but read. They don't want to participate. The vast majority don't.
I know.
You know the game, don't you? You're savvy with it, I know.
Oh, I am.
I know.
Oh, first question.
Okay, can we skim down quickly? You tell me what you... I know, okay, you kicked off New Faces, didn't you?
No.
No, you didn't.
So there you go.
Well, no, okay, fruit and veg man, all right. We'll go back a bit further, yeah? You missed those days on the fruit and veg.
No. Yeah, right. No, I started, my first television nationwide program was Opportunity Knocks.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And I was told I was going to come second, and I did.
Really? Yeah?
Oh, yes. The famous clapometer was a long cardboard box with a piece of bungee at one end and a fella pulling the knob at the other. But that really, although it was exposure...
Helped a bit, I guess, eh?
Sorry, what?
Helped a little bit, I guess.
Well, yes, but only for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
You have to have kind of permanent TV exposure.
Yes.
If you want to be
remembered,
well known.
Yes.
The one-off is not good enough.
No.
Then the one that launched me properly was
Wheel Tappers
and Chunters Club.
I remember it.
And they left me on air for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Which allows an artist to show their act.
Yes.
As opposed to telling a couple of gags or singing a song, And television still hasn't cottoned on to that fact.
No.
People do acts. They don't just sing a song.
No.
And to watch somebody doing that is far more interesting.
Yes.
But I'm afraid in media studies that never comes up.
They're given a small time slot, and it doesn't give time to show.
We think people haven't got much of an attention span. Well, if you're showing them rubbish, they haven't.
No.
I agree. Where's that control? Yeah. And so, so from Wheel Tappers and Chunters, that really made me, after a lot of time in the clubs, the sort of typical show business overnight success.
I tell you what I found slightly interesting. I mean, I've followed bits and bats over the years, because the reason is that anybody who's there for a long time and there so prominently. I know the comment about the second most familiar face at the time with Charles, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously people like that are interesting, because these guys, like yourself, you're top of the league, aren't you? So you've got to be doing something, right? And it's
well, that's what I do say to, I mostly am contacted by young magicians, and what do I do and all that. I said, go and see people who have been at the top for a long time.
Yes.
And try to figure out why. What is it about their style, their presentation, their whatever. And I says, and preferably nothing at all to do with magic. Have a look at, go and see Bassy. What does she do? how does she walk, you know, and all that jazz, and see if that can be applied to what you're doing. So you're right, those that have been there for a long time
are the ones
to watch.
Yeah, I always believe in trying, if you can, to ask somebody who is successful or at the top or whatever, because they're the ones that, like everybody else, they know the answers and they're willing to partake with your conversation sometimes. The thing I found interesting was that you made a comment about this thing about mid-70s when you you made a conscious decision to get on the box.
Yeah.
So, I don't know exactly how he did that. I mean, that's a calculated, factual business attitude, and you did it. So,
yeah, well,
how did you do it?
Example, there was another one, I will not name names. And another comedian walked into Thames Television, and he walked up to the reception desk, and he said, I've been watching your comedians on TV, and they're absolute rubbish.
Right.
And I'm doing enormous business in all the London clubs. Why haven't I got a series?
Yeah.
So they passed him immediately into another office, same blether, and he got a series.
Really?
You see, the thing is, the people in television, if they don't go out, and a lot of them don't, if they sit in their offices and do that, they are unaware that you exist. And so the number one way to get on television, on radio, into the newspapers, is tell them you're there.
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
Just to get to them and inform them of the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invite them to shows and keep inviting them till they come.
Yeah. And it worked. You tried. That's what you did, basically.
Well, I employed a person to do that for me because I was doing quite well. I was doing very well in the clubs.
Yes.
And so I employed a person to pester the BBC.
Good one. Yeah. Some kind of a promoter, I guess. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's now an executive producer on television himself.
Right.
So he's done as well as I have.
Yeah.
And so it's. But that basically is it. If you can't afford him, write to them. Look at producers on the TV shows you want to be on. Chase and pester. You see, it doesn't just happen.
No.
And staying there just doesn't happen either. You've got to keep coming up with the goods.
Yes, I'd have gone. Normally there's somebody who looks after my shop, but she's not here today, so I'm sort of sat on my own. Yeah, interesting. Show that you got into then that brought you to the attention of the old public.
Well, Wheel Tappers was the one, because having done that one, Johnny Hamp invited me straight back to do another one, and then another one, and then gave me the whole show to do. So, I mean, that was really the beginning. And then he gave me, I think it was a New Year's Eve special to do, and so on. And by then, the BBC were after me. And so I was doing short runs of things like For My Next Trick, a magical TV series. Back to Granada TV to do Blackpool, what they call it, Big Night Out.
Yes, I remember it.
And stuff of that nature. There was another one called Be My Guest.
Right.
Another series. So I did lots of stuff for Granada.
Yeah, but not exactly. You're obviously very talented, but it's like Bob Monkhouse, great presenter of fast-witted, quick intellect. We all know, the people that took shows on like Charlie Williams couldn't handle it, could they?
No, well, I think the reason for that is quite a subtle one, and it's this business now of people are being taught to be producers and directors of shows by people who have never made one.
Yes.
Which I find really peculiar.
Yes.
And you can come out of university with a degree in media studies, and they put you into the business. Whereas when television started, it took people from theatre who had actually been doing the job.
Yes.
And had heard audiences.
Of course.
And then we go back before that to Groucho Marx's lot, the Marx Brothers, the tour, the play around the theatres, and had a man in the audience timing the laughter.
Really?
And they would leave that amount of space in the filmmaking. Now I watch television, and it is fairly obvious that the guy in charge of the mix of the audience sound has never been to a live show, because they can turn the sound up and down.
Yes.
If there's an audience there nowadays, they can turn the sound up and down, but they do it too quickly. It doesn't fade away. It's in the wrong timing. It's
the rhythm's out.
It's not right.
Yeah.
And so those shows, I think, lose from the lack of live experience.
Of course, yes, of course they will, yeah. You need to have that timing sort of built into your character,
psyche, yeah.
You know,
and when they do these reprise shows of people like Tommy Cooper, you will find the editor coming in, and suddenly we've got a young, I'm being rude, young spotty-faced comic talking about Tommy Cooper, cutting in to his timing. And so some people must look at it and think, well, why did they think Cooper was funny? But you're not seeing Tommy Cooper. You are seeing an edited version of Tommy Cooper.
Oh, I see, yes.
And therefore the man's timing has gone.
I wouldn't have recognised that, but I do understand now, yeah. I used to like David Nixon a long time ago, but it's we're going back to the 60s. He was very...
I love David Nixon.
Yes.
I thought he was just brilliant.
He had such a nice...
but now I'm going to have to say something. It sounds conceited,
yeah.
but amazed me when I found out that the year he died, I was on television the next year.
Yes.
And doubled his ratings.
Right.
Which to me, when I read it just recently, I was stunned.
Yes.
Believe it, because I thought everybody watched David.
That was where was that then? Somewhere in the early 80s.
Would be, yeah.
Yeah. Should slap yourself on the back for the shows, because I know they were a part of our culture, weren't they, at the time?
They were indeed, yeah.
You know.
You have to wonder, well, I do, because I was just saying last night, I like Kenny Everett.
Yes, I do.
And he has not been repeated anywhere.
Yeah, spontaneous.
And it's peculiar to me, whether it's a friendship, pals act or whatever, how many times they will repeat the two Ronnies.
Yes.
And yet there were, at that time, not just my show, yes, very nice, thank you, top of the rating, very nice,
yes,
has never, ever been seen again. Kenny Everett, never been seen again.
Yeah.
And I just think, well,
why? It doesn't add up, does it?
It doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No. If you are at the top,
I love Derek and Ernie to death.
People have a fondness for the
Derek
memories, don't they? People of my age group and older have a fondness for those times, and they can remember these shows, and Kenny Everett, yourself, and various other people. But I agree.
But you see,
where are you?
Well, you see, where Eric and Ernie, very nice, repeated.
Yeah.
But we knocked them off the top of the ratings at the Christmas shows, which was, very nice for me. And we had a gag about it when we met. All that stuff. But so why do they keep repeating them? Is it because they're dead and they don't have to pay them? I don't know. I'm just saying, but Kenny's dead, so,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so interesting question. You can't answer it, so I certainly can't, but I do understand that. I can see it seems very strange that. Because, to be honest, over the last day when I mentioned to various people that I was going to give you a call, everybody, maybe half a dozen people have said the same thing. Yes, we haven't seen him for a while, but, they all remember you with fondness because you were
Well, one of the reasons
so
you haven't seen me for a while is because I'm always, I have been a lot working abroad. But now I'm trying to not work.
Yes.
At the beginning of the year, I learned this years ago, but ignored it until very recently. Beginning of the year, Debbie and I look at what we want to do, what it's going to cost, and all that, and that's how much work I do. There's a famous story about Michael Caine. Some journalist interviewer said to him, "What on earth possessed you to make that film Water?"
I remember.
Which is dire.
Yes.
And he took him round the side of the house and showed him this huge conservatory thing, and he says, "That."
Yeah.
What people forget is this is a business, and we are workmen, and we have to earn a living.
Yes.
And so I must turn down now 2 or 3 TV shows a day.
Right.
Because there's no money in it.
It's not worth the while, eh?
It's just not worth backing the car out of the drive for.
No.
Whereas, so we create this budget, if you like. And then this year I've done Vegas and Los Angeles.
Great.
And just a couple of shows there. And just bobbing in and out. We do, this year I'm doing 3 cruises as opposed to my normal 2. I came back from Vegas and I did a tour of some village halls.
Yes.
And the press, of course, who I love dearly, the press said, no more palladiums for Paul and all that.
Yeah.
But they don't know the sums, because when I do a village hall,
yes.
Now there's some really good ones out there where they've been sponsored by the lottery fund.
I see.
And they seat about 250 people.
Good venue.
Well, it's good for me because I like to be people to see what I'm doing clearly.
Yes.
I'm doing one on Sunday night, and it only seats a couple of hundred.
Would it be worth keeping a diary on the internet? Get some
I do my blog.
Do you?
And the thing is, but what I don't talk about on the internet is the financial aspect of it.
No.
I have no great call for posters or flyers. I rent the hall for nuttons.
Yes.
And I don't have any hassles with management. People are delighted to see you in the village.
Sounds good.
Because now they don't want to go into the big cities because they see them as dangerous. And London's got congestion charges and parking fees through the roof. And so I tootle around the country and I make more money in the village halls than paying the big percentages and charges for the big theatres.
Okay. Well, yeah,
financially...
Take that one, stupid press.
Well,
they're doing their job, that.
I have a phrase I use a lot, which is kiss a tit. It stands for keep it simple, stupid, and think it through. And what the press don't do, they don't think it through.
No.
None of them asked me.
That's a good one,
asked me, I'd have said, okay, this is a financially sound business to do.
Yes, yes.
I love it. I mean, I did a little theatre out in Essex last week there, and I'm doing this next one next weekend. And
it's a good
I
combination.
don't do much in the way of public shows, I have to confess. I just do maybe in this country about 10 a year.
Yes. Yes. But you like Michael Caine. Have you ever met him?
I've met him twice, I think.
Okay.
I think he's great.
I met him, just tell you briefly, his biography is great. I haven't read yours, so I'm going to read it, but it was in my top 5. Great book, humorous, funny. And when I met him at the Dorchester about 3 years ago, I told him a quick I walked up to him, I said, it's a shame you haven't got your teddy boy suit on, because if you had, I could call you a C something something T. And he laughed, because he knew that when there's a story in there, when he's in the 50s, he wanted to be a teddy boy, got the suit, didn't feel the part, didn't have any confidence, put it on one day, walked towards a big group of teddy boys, the waves parted, he went through the middle of them, got to the far end, run to the pack, turned round and said, well, I just said C-U-N-T. And he fell apart, his whole world collapsed on him. And that kicked off a great conversation, and I've spent around, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour talking with him. He's really, really nice. I watched his masterclass on TV. Yes, I did.
And the thing is, you see, with Michael Caine, he's one of the few guys that have ever thrown me off on stage. I am not physically but mentally.
Yes.
I walked on stage at the Prince of Wales Theatre, and he was sitting in the second or the third row, right in the middle.
Right.
He was the first face I saw as I was walking out, and I thought, blimey,
wow,
that's Michael Caine. But I watched him in a film. He was in a film with Laurence Olivier.
Right.
And all the lobbies, rave about Olivier, and maybe live he was something, I don't know. But on film, Michael Caine acted him off the screen.
Yeah.
Because you could see Laurence Olivier acting.
Yes.
And Michael Caine just was the part.
Yes.
It was real. Yeah. Whereas, Olivier was too much over the top. Right?
I understand, yeah.
So when I watched his masterclass, I thought he was just brilliant.
I enjoyed it. It was
never an accident, is it?
Never.
They're never lucky. You know, when people come on, oh, you're lucky. Oh, right.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm not.
I'm an overnight
lucky.
success.
I know the rules, mate.
I know. You've earned it. You know overnight success. You know the thing about acting, things happening on stage. I read a little bit on the internet last night, chatting up a bit. And I love that bit when you was going about the wig thing, and you said that you wore this thing at the time, which was understandable because of the young attitude of people coming into the business. I love the bit where you said that where you used it when the guy was from Wig for what is it now?
We work in Wigfall.
Yeah.
the big lead store.
Brilliant! It was so good, wasn't it?
I had so many opportunities for hairdressers and all that. And as I say, at private parties, I used to sneeze and send it flying across the room. And that's the other thing I do quite a few of now, private functions.
Right.
I do, of course, corporate work and all that. We all do that. But awfully rich people have discovered this guy called Paule Daniels can turn up at their party. And sometimes I do what used to be known as a drawing room entertainer type show. And a couple of years ago at the Edinburgh Fringe, I did the magic of Max Malini.
Right.
And Max Malini used to do this. He used to entertain kings and sultans and pharaohs and all that jazz. And so that's what I do as well.
That's the area to be in, isn't it? That's good. That's really interesting. Do you know, just one more thing. I also thought at the time when they used to go on about this thing about the wig, which was an understandable thing, you on spitting image. And I always just think, well, that's good, isn't it?
Well, actually, I got the shock of my life because at that time in history of spitting image, they were only picking on top politicians, royal family, leader of the churches, and suddenly up pops me. And I was bowled over. I thought, blimey. And so then what I did was I immediately sent a letter off saying, could I have the puppet? Because I couldn't believe they were going to do me again.
Yes.
They did.
Oh, they did, yes.
And it was just extraordinary as an experience.
It's great, wasn't it?
The only thing wrong with it was they got to the stage. I then realized how bad spitting image was, because I couldn't care less for me.
No.
But families get offended. And at the time, I was not going out with Debbie Mcgee.
Right.
And on the very second program, they had me pulling her top down and sucking her boobs.
Oh, I see. Pushed it too far, that,
Well, Debbie's mum and dad are very proper. They are not in show business. Her brother isn't in show business. Her sister isn't in show business. So all those people are going to work and and all the morons, you know. And it's hurtful.
Yes.
So then I started to look at what they were doing to other people, and the same thing applied.
Of course.
And suddenly, and let's face it, in truth, Spitting Image only had one joke.
Yes.
Didn't it?
It did.
It was a one-joke show.
That's correct, I've heard stories like that before. They said behind the scenes on Spit Image, not that I'm an expert, but they pushed it to the limits, and only once did they turn the subject matter down. I can't remember the details, but they pushed it too far and it was rejected. They used to go too far sometimes, I think.
Well, nowadays I ponder upon whether you can go too far to allow anything.
Yes.
And I think that's a shame. It's a little bit like the X Factor.
Yeah.
I really don't like watching bad acts.
No.
Don't like people being made fools of in public.
No.
Just to pander to the ego of a rather untalented person sitting there saying, you're crap.
Yes.
Well, I want to see him get up and sing.
Yes. It is popular, obviously.
It's
probably the main program on TV
for the wrong reasons.
It is.
And if you keep promoting the wrong reasons, they become the norm.
Yes.
And people who are slightly mentally backward have been appearing on that thing.
Oh, they have, yes.
And I don't like them being laughed at.
There was. I remember one particular family going in for it recently, and it was. I thought it was quite sad.
Yeah.
The way she was tracked.
Yeah.
But I won't bother to say any more detail on that. But
They don't-
between you and me, I thought that was quite sad.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, all they've got to say to them is say, "Well, we're really sorry, but you're not up to the standard we're looking for." And I'm sure you'll do well somewhere, but it's not going to be on this show. And be nice about it.
I think it's, as a subject, I like psychology, it's my hobby. I think that people always do, like the press, don't they? Build you up, knock you down. If it's readable, people look for that. They like something which is, it makes them feel slightly better about themselves.
You would be astonished at the number of people I know who don't take any newspapers.
Well, no, I read what you said somewhere about you
No,
don't get... Yeah.
I said that. We haven't taken them for 20 years now.
Right.
And I said that in public. And out of the woodwork came thousands of people who said, no, neither do we. We sell 1 million newspapers. Yeah, well, what about the other 57 million?
Yeah.
Why aren't they reading you?
Anyway, that's good. Another one I was going to interest in was the prominent TV show was the Lois Theroux one, wasn't it? What did you think of that? Because I'm putting my opinion straight in there, but I found all those shows interesting. People like to get to try and see some aspect of a person, but
that doesn't necessarily come from Louis. I know that on his last night with us, because he was with us for 3 months.
3 months, Christ, I didn't realise.
Yeah, to make a 50-minute program.
Yeah.
And then the people say, or some other TV company will say, we haven't really got the money to do light entertainment anymore. Well, I'm sorry, but 3 months videotape takes a lot of editing.
It is.
And they can make you look any way they want with that amount of material. But Louis is a totally nice guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The editing then,
to
a large degree.
They were pushing him to put the knife into us.
Yeah.
And actually saying you found nothing nasty about them.
He did with Jimmy Savile.
And he said, I won't do that. I like them.
Right.
So
okay, that's a good. That's interesting. That's a good spin there because I mean, I remember the one with Jimmy Savile, and I thought didn't come out of that too well.
Well, I'll tell you why, and we're back now to people not understanding the theatre of television. Jimmy Savile brought up through television in the days of a team of technicians who have the best cameras, the best lighting, sound men, everything, is suddenly faced by a man holding a little handheld.
Yeah.
And so Jimmy's backlit, and Jimmy is now on his back foot because he knows this isn't going to look good technically.
I see.
Whereas Debbie and I'm a very techie guy.
Yes.
So I watched Louis' style, where he asks a question and then lets you answer it and then doesn't say anything. And now, if you're a regular broadcaster like Jimmy was, you know you can't have silence.
No.
So you start to fill in the silence.
And you're on the spot.
And what are you babbling?
Yes.
And so I said to Debbie, whatever happens, answer the question succinctly and then say nothing.
Turn it round.
Turn it round, and that's what we did.
Got it.
Turned it back on him.
Nice one. Good one.
And so they then can't transmit the silence. Well, and they don't transmit your babbling.
No.
So it's I should open a school for television presenting.
Yes. Jimmy, I thought yours came out.
After I've got to say this. Louis stayed with Jimmy quite a few times.
Did it?
After that event.
I've met Jimmy Savile a couple of times. He's in Leeds sometimes, near to where I live.
Well, he lives there.
He does. I'm going to go and see him. I'm hoping to have a word with him soon. But yeah, but interesting show. I mean, at the end of the day, it was good television. It did you good, didn't it?
Well, we came out of it rather well because the next morning I remember I had 840 odd emails.
Right.
And only 2 of them didn't like us.
Oh well, there we go then. It's okay.
Those are pretty good odds. I'll settle for that.
Okay, yeah. I've sort of spun back just a bit in the past here. What were the mentors you had? I mean, was it anybody that you particularly... I mean, I know an 11-year-old got the book, went into magic, saw the impression it made on people, etc., etc. Everybody who's ever a mentor in the beginning, they look at somebody and fashion themselves, don't they, from the beginning, no?
No, not at all. In fact, slightly more adult than that, I had to stop watching Eric Morecambe because I started to talk like him. I started to pick up his rhythm. I know a lot about linguistic rhythms.
Right.
So we think, for example, the Americans are not sincere when they speak to us. But if you live in America for a couple of months and then watch an English person being interviewed, they are so insincere.
I see.
It's because of the rhythm of the language here is, I have got to say this, completely different to the rhythm of the language abroad in America.
I see.
and so you have to change wherever, well, I do wherever I work, for that kind of scene.
Yes, I understand. Okay.
So I didn't have a mentor at all.
I guess you obviously like the popular ones like David Nixon and David Berglass and people like that. You obviously are in the same area as you, but you didn't particularly highlight yourself in anybody.
I thought, well, for the first 10 years of me doing magic, I didn't know there was another magician on the planet.
No.
I was just so insular. I was so focused. And then television comes along and you start to learn about the other guys, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah, big learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the way down, no doubt, yeah. I know you're doing a Paule Daniels magic course now. That's on the internet site, isn't it?
Yeah, that course, if you know nothing at all about magic,
yeah.
Yes, it's expensive, but it can actually give you another career. Not to be necessarily very famous, although we give you a lot of hints and tips on that.
Yeah.
But it took 3 months of meetings and writing and scribbling to put down everything I know about this business.
Right.
And so it tells you where to get the magic, where to find the tricks that suit you, to find you know, because that's really important, and to find out what people like about you, and then how to deal with publicity and agents, and it goes on forever.
Yes, it's a full gambit then. It covers the whole spectrum, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's aimed at people who know magic already, but we need to learn all the other aspects. It sounds good then. It sounds good for...
Well, it applies to beginners and it applies to the pros. It was interesting that when I did the master classes in the States,
yeah,
here in England, we believe, you know, Americans are just, they're the be-all and end-all of selling and everything.
Yeah.
And it's the other man's grass.
Right.
When I went there, I was fascinated to see the top guys in my business coming and writing down notes and stuff I was going, and nodding, going, oh yeah, you know, that's a good idea. I found that fascinating.
You know, you're a full spectrum entertainer, comedian, interaction. You did so many areas of magic, not like a lot of people, obviously.
You see, again, you're back to this business of being a one-gag guy.
Yeah.
Same with Paul McKenna. When he came on the scene, I used to do hypnosis. And everybody said to me, you know, oh, Paul McKenna's got a series. I said, well, he's got actually 2 or 3 at the most, isn't he? Because it's one gag.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like I put these people to sleep and make them do silly things.
Yes.
End of gag.
Yes, that's the finish, yeah.
And again, from television's point of view, they can't see the attraction, I can, of only putting him on once a year.
Yes.
Benny Hill used to do one special a year for many years,
yes.
And everybody watched it.
Yes.
Max Miller would come to your local theatre once a year, and the place was packed for the week because you couldn't see him any other time.
No. Now
what they do on television, I mean, I remember well Russ Abbott, great entertainer, Russ.
Yep.
And they gave him a 26-week series.
It's panicking, was it?
No, but nobody can be funny for 20.
No, it gobbles the material, doesn't it? Yeah.
The quality goes down.
You get, obviously there's always a popular area at the moment, and Darren Brown's in there, isn't he, at the moment, I guess, and David Blaine was popular, but I've met David Blaine at Ori's a couple of times, actually. Okay, you know. Okay, I mean, do you like these guys yourself?
I felt sorry for David Blaine because he was a street entertainer doing half a dozen tricks. The magic shop, he was doing them reasonably well. And he got picked up and suddenly, through doing a couple of good parties, got on TV.
I see.
And television, I think he suddenly realised you know.
It's a heavy, to keep
it's a heavy drain on resources. And so the editors on the TV started to save his neck.
Yeah.
But you've got to have imagination and a very wide-ranging knowledge of magic to be able to sustain it.
Yes, a showman like yourself.
Well, you need to do a bit more. Darren is doing very well at the moment.
I like Darren.
With his stuff. And but he's got to be very careful. He's got to limit himself a bit because of, again, he's got one gag.
Yes.
And when I say gag, I mean it's an old phrase in the business.
Yeah.
He is presenting the mind-reading act.
Yes.
Now, think of a word. There you go. There's the word. That's the act.
Yes.
And now, it's how many dressings can you put on it?
Yes. How can you spin that round and make it entertaining?
But you know, fair dues at the moment.
I guess
Great business and long may it last for him.
Of course, yeah. I like the comment that you said. You have this thing where you go. I know you're a very factual sort of guy, obviously, which is you have to be to survive in today's world and be like you were. But I like your theory on in a human aspect that we're all animals, because I like psychology and I think we are animals. I'm not.
What are those?
Yeah. Well, well, to put this bluntly, I think sometimes that there is more to humans than just pure. It's a debatable thing that whether we are just purely rational thinking animals. I mean, we do. Altarianism sometimes comes into it. People do things, they have standards to meet, they would do something which doesn't benefit themselves sometimes, purely for the sake of their own form, you know. So I think as human beings we fall in love, don't we?
Window here. You see, people who say this stuff, and you are guilty, people who say this stuff, don't sit and look at nature. As I sit in my room now,
yes,
I'm looking out on a garden. And the garden at the end has a big river.
Yes,
so I get swans, moorhens, coots, snakes, foxes, squirrels, deer, and I watch them.
Yes.
Now, there are moments in their lives when they just play.
I see, yes.
I watch them playing.
Yes.
I know they communicate.
Yes.
But within their evolution, I know they communicate because there is no other accounting for the things that they do.
No.
You know, when you watch them. So when I watch my beasties out here, I can't see there's much difference.
Yes.
The only difference between us and them is we evolved with a better position, an upright position.
Yeah.
We evolved. They can't pick things up except with their beak.
Yes.
We've got really good digital systems, you know.
Oh, I agree.
We have a much wider range of communication. Other than that, I can't see any difference.
Well, a rabbi, I've forgotten his name actually, but he's a friend of ours again. We were discussing it with him a couple of years ago, and he was just basically saying that he believed in. I don't believe in religion. I think he went into religion once, but he said that in his life, I mean, why do we all strive to be good in a way? You know, I mean, sometimes you can do things and think, sod that, you know, I'll do what's good for me, which we do occasionally. But he said that any purposeful, intentional act that you do that's good, it's like the ripples on the water. It carries on and it go, you know, that can never be taken away. It's an intellectual desire to do something good. Do you tend to believe that is a good aspect to human beings, and it, you know, it means that we are?
No, I don't.
You don't?
It's common sense.
It's common sense. You're doing it where you're going to get
the more
back.
you can spread out goodness, which I don't believe in God, I believe in good.
Yeah.
The less pain will come back at you. Because there'll be I did a show recently in what they call them, a Young Offenders Institute.
Oh yeah.
It was a prison.
Like a Borstal type place.
Terrible, yeah. But I was saying to them that they were stupid.
Well, they are.
No, but you see, nobody talks to them like this.
I see.
They're given moralistic reasons. I talk practically. I say, look, okay, you nicked a car.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't get time to sell it, so you didn't even get the $5,000 that you might have got for that car if you'd been selling it on the black market.
Yes.
So I said, but you're in here for 8 months. Now, it's not a 9-to-5 job, so if you divide the 24 hours a day, for 8 months into the amount of money you might have got if you got away with it,
yes.
You're still earning less than a paper boy.
Yes, I like it. Good way of looking at it, yes. Yes,
so
low wages.
Practical about this. Now, the more people you can stop stealing and there's two ways to do this, by enforcement and by example,
yes.
by logic, then goodness is actually good for us.
Yes.
So it comes back.
Oh, of course.
Equally, out here we have packs of geese, all right? And I've watched them. If there's an intruder goes into the pack, the rest of the pack look after the one that's in trouble.
Yes, yes.
What's the difference?
Well, there isn't.
That's why I say I wish people would realize that we are animals. And the other thing I really care about a lot is the fact that we, on this planet, everything on the planet, including the planet, has a span of time that we call life.
Oh, everything dies eventually.
And so everything dies.
Yes.
But so we will.
We can't answer the big question because nobody can we? We don't know why we're here, what it's all about, really.
I
don't
think that there has to be a reason.
There doesn't have to be a reason, no. I mean, it's intriguing. Nobody can answer it. They say God could be the guy that crumbles the breadcrumbs in the goldfish bowl and where the goldfish are. But we don't. Maybe there is something out there. There is a supreme intelligence. Maybe there possibly isn't.
Well, my mother came out with the line. Oddly enough, I heard it within a week on Radio 4.
Yeah.
That there isn't a God. Now, this woman was brought up very religiously, and that's the other problem. We are brainwashed at an early age to believe in it. She said, there isn't a God. And I said, why not? She said, well, look what's happened to these kids on some TV news thing.
Yes.
And she says, and if there is a God, I don't want to worship him because he's a nasty bugger.
Yes. Agreed.
And when the people who run the God business teach us to sing all things bright and beautiful, they've got to remember, all things slimy and horrible. The good Lord made them all. If you want to go that route.
Yeah.
There's,
We all know. You watch the news and you can see what the state of the world's like, can't we?
I just can't trust fellas in frocks with smoking handbags.
Religion is a crutch for humanity, and we know it, don't we?
Yeah, but isn't it such a shame we are not being taught the practicality of the morals of religion? Like I was talking to the kids about where you're wasting your time, and how much we can do for ourselves instead of hanging on to hoping somebody else is going to do it for you.
Yes, of course, yes.
Through a prayer thing.
Yes. There is no divine, there's nothing, there's no magic, there is no...
When I'm emperor, it's all going to change.
When what?
When I am emperor, it's all going to change.
Yes. I do Self, I understand what you're saying exactly. I agree. But I do tend to think we can't answer the question of life, so you should. Maybe I do believe there's a goodness inside people, but that's my personal thing, and we are animals in a way, but we sometimes rise above that. We use our intellect to do things purely for the sake of it being good rather than what we're going to get back.
I think that you're insulting all the other animals.
Oh, I see. That's how you see it.
Yep.
Well, okay. Okay, I see. Yes, never mind. We'll leave that one then. So, at the moment then, how are things in your career? Are you enjoying your time off? Are you going to go back to work soon?
Well, I work all the time. That never stops.
Right.
I'm currently seriously editing the Magic Shop. That is going to expand enormously within 12 months, over the next 12 months. I'm enjoying all the variety of jobs I'm doing, and so my life, for me, hasn't changed. It's very nice of people to say, when are we going to see on TV and all that jazz. But until I'll miss it. TV, like everything else, goes round and round in circles. People say there is no variety on TV. Well, yes, there is. The singers are all in that show. The comedians are all in that show. The impressionists are all in that show, you know.
Yeah.
And they put them in blocks. Presumably that's easier. Magic is on the streets because then they don't have to build a set. And it's much cheaper to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think television, I can't understand really, and I'm not being rude, I'm just being logical.
Yes.
Cannot understand the BBC worrying about such things because they've got a fixed income and could spend the money better and give us a wider range of stuff than the cheap shows.
Yes.
It's
not the greatest time for television, really, is it, at the moment, in that respect?
No, I mean, it really isn't. Not in terms of light entertainment. It is in terms of drama and stuff like that. Spooks is fantastic, you know. Spooks is brilliant in that it matches anything like CSI Vegas and all those programs that come out of the States. For me, it's even better. I thought nothing could top CSI Vegas in that respect. They do. New tricks with the three old coppers coming back to solve the crimes at the and all that. I think that was a brilliant series. So yes, in drama terms, everything's cool. I just think that the light entertainment scene needs a kick up the backside.
I see, yeah. The thing I wanted to ask, and I've just realised, do you think then that life is a non-stop disaster, basically? Because if we are living in animals that live for the span and die, and there is nothing more to it, it's going no direction, you know, nobody knows the answer ultimately. Is it a non-stop disaster in a way? I mean, we enjoy it while we're here, but we don't.
No, but I don't think it is. I don't think it needs to be a disaster. I think it's more disastrous being taught that, you know, don't worry, God will look after you, and you're going off to have 7 virgins in heaven and all that. I think that's the disaster. Instead of being taught, this is it, folks. Now, go through your life, doing the best you can for as many people as you can.
That's it.
Try not to hurt anybody, and yet at the same time having a good time.
Yeah. I like the idea. It sounds good to me. I agree with you.
All right, well, just put some money in this collection plate.
That's right, yeah. No, I know where you're coming from. I agree with that. The other thing is, with knowing Uri and build his career around the psychic element, I mean, if anyone would be able to probably know the truth, have you ever seen anything that's made you think, well, that's not explainable? Darren Brown said he once did, on an interview I heard, I've never met him, he said he saw a guy who made an object move, an old chap, from a distance. He checked the room out, it moved, and it's the only time he couldn't explain it. But have you ever seen anything, because I think a long time ago, was it something to do with debunking some psychic surgery or something like that?
Yeah, and in fact, I've just gone coast to coast radio in America, debunking it again, but it's only telling the same story. I mean, I would love to meet a psychic.
Yeah.
I'd love to, because that's the ultimate magician.
Yeah.
But
never.
Using the sense of logic that we have, you know, don't tell me the tales afterwards that you knew the Twin Towers was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Tell me beforehand, and tell me who's doing it, and tell me where they're flying from, and all that. Don't tell me that you're psychic because you haven't won the lottery.
No.
There is a logic here, folks, you know.
Yes.
Do something that is inexplainable. Well, outside my business.
It's like James Randi, isn't it? He's continually put the offer there, the bait, you know, the $1 million.
Oh yes.
Nobody ever did it, ever.
They can't do it.
No.
And of course, even Uri came out from behind his psychic bit and appeared on magic shows.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I mean, because we want to believe in psychic stuff, because we want to believe we can get in touch with our dear departed and all that jazz.
Yes.
It will always be there as a business.
Oh, definitely.
But if people would only stop and think for real, and then only accept this as a form of entertainment,
yes,
which it has grown out of,
yes,
then you're going to be better off.
I went to see the guy, Colin Firth, The Sixth Sense. Got tickets from where I went down to see him. 1 hour, 20 minutes, edited down to 20 minutes to make it look good. It was very, very poor. That's my opinion, editing.
It's stating the glaringly obvious and what people want to hear.
It was.
That's the act.
We met I was installing cameras for a guy who was a medium about 2 years ago, and I watched the guy. Did he pump me for material? No. Went to the show, free tickets. Did he pick me out? No. Picked on my wife. It didn't seem to be good, but when he got to where he said a few things, we tried to fit it out. Did he really say anything accurate? He did a few things, but I know you've never ever rated any of these. They're all never shown any truth to it.
No, early on, I mean, when I was unknown and that, I would go to the odd medium because I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Go to mediums and that, and who do you want to get in touch with,
Yeah.
And I would explain I'd like to get in touch with my grandfather.
Yes.
And we always got in touch. The other thing is, when I say we always got in touch, I found that quite amusing because I knew he was at home working in the garage. I mean, that's a fact.
Okay.
And I'm always fascinated by the fact that despite all our religious upbringings, no psychic ever gets through to somebody that says, "Oh, it's bloody hot down here and my feet are burning."
No.
Do they?
No, they don't, no.
Always sweetness and light.
Yes.
Beautifully angelic, and it's a load of cobblers.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I think that puts it in perspective, doesn't it, that statement? Yeah, those great tricks you used to do on TV? Which do you rate then? Which is the one you really thought, I mean, maybe it's impossible. Which is the one you liked the best? Which went wrong? How did any go wrong?
They tended not to go wrong. The only time, they were practical things that went wrong, like we poured water into a barrel for an escape, and the barrel had dried out in the studio.
Yes.
Wasn't moist, so the timbers had shrunk. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But actual magic tricks didn't go wrong because we worked bloody hard.
Yes,
I suppose.
you worked hard. Yeah.
And I'm not bad at my job.
No.
Which ones do I rate? The things that the people talk mostly about were the kettle that could pour any drink, the vanishing elephant.
Oh yeah.
Within the business, the vanishing camera. I did a vanishing camera while it was transmitting.
Interesting.
So many things. But it was also interesting to note that when the lovely Hans Moretti, who I saw just recently, and he's still there, and his sons are doing the acts and all that. Hans Moretti was hanging upside down with a rope on fire. He's in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
He's swinging over a bed of bayonets,
Yes.
and he's got to do all this escape. What was interesting, because we used to do research in pubs,
Yes. Yes.
Next day, they were all talking about the card trick I did before that.
Oh, really? Just shows you, doesn't it?
Because television, you see, I'm back to knowing about the theatre of television. Spectacle on television, huge pop concerts on television, don't work.
No.
Because they're the same size as if you put a mouse on TV.
Oh, I see. The close-up is the mouse is, you see, it's like the elephant almost on TV.
It's like you watch sport on TV, no doubt, and when you watch sport on TV, suddenly this bad light stop play, and you go, what? But look at it, it's beautiful, and it's not. They can turn the camera, tweak the camera, so that it looks like it's broad daylight.
Yes.
Everything, television, you see, has to be fully understood. And sadly, there are really good live entertainers, but when they go into the studios, never come across. And the reason they don't come across is because the director only directs the cameras.
All right.
They don't direct the act. They think the act should know, but these acts who are live acts do not know about how to present on television.
No, you've got the technical knowledge and the ability through practical experience to know that.
Yeah.
These guys haven't have it sometimes. I understand that, yeah.
Yeah.
I know the levitation was a thing you like, wasn't it? I've always been impressed by that. I remember David Nixon doing it in the 60s when I was a kid. I'm 47. I always used to be impressed by that. Did you do one with a solid steel hoop? Or whatever the hoop was made of?
I actually, I've invented 4 different ways to levitate people.
Right.
And one of them, yes, used a solid hoop that went over the body in what they call one pass.
Yes.
On the feet and off the head, and handed out to the audience.
Yes.
To show that this is a real hoop.
Yes.
Because people, people aren't daft. People always think, oh, well, there must be a hole in it, doesn't there? And I wanted to show that there wasn't, so I did that. And I'm doing one at the moment with a cardboard box that's baffling a lot of magicians, which is nice. Not
Yes.
all of them. You can't fool all the people all the time.
No.
It's quite, it's different. New.
Good.
And what's good about that is it's a completely new principle in magic, which is nice, isn't it?
That is, yeah. Do you can also hypnotise people, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. It became a bad press, and he got a bad attitude. Paul McKenna's moved on, and he's spun it round, gone into the, the help area. He's got the TV Sky program, I think.
Yeah.
But that's something which you can do in the same league as McKenna. You
Oh yeah.
find that no problem.
Yeah. For one time.
How many people can you put under hypnosis?
Well, there's only 3 kinds of people who can't be hypnotized.
No, okay.
I mean,
Yes.
this is not a joke. There's alcoholics,
Yeah.
children under the mental age of about 7 to 8,
Oh, yeah.
and lunatics.
Gibbering idiots that have no.
No, I'm talking about genuine lunatics. Asylum lunatics.
I see.
They can't be hypnotized, but everybody else,
Can.
to a more or less degree. I seem to remember reading one time that the longest it has taken to induce hypnosis in somebody was about 180 hours. And I laughed, but I thought, well, she probably just nodded off, bless her. But it's in sessions,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I was, my manager was, for a while, the best hypnotist of them all,
Oh,
and called Peter Casson.
okay.
And he was a sensational stage hypnotist, yeah.
Oh, so you've learned from a master.
Yeah.
In a way, I guess, yeah. What about the reality shows then? What do you think of those? Did you do the farm? I remember it was being advertised. I never watched it. I couldn't.
Couldn't see me on it. I only stayed 2 days because it wasn't what I was promised in the contract.
Oh, I see.
Walk the walk. Stan Collymore worked that out about 6 days later, and he walked as well.
Did it? Right.
This isn't what was on the can.
No.
And this is a general statement. It's about the X Factor. It's about all reality show. To a degree, yeah, whatever. I just want to see people performing. I want to see professionals performing. Unless it is announced this is an amateur talent show.
Yes.
And even then, I only want to see the best of the acts.
Yes. You don't want it dragging in the gutter.
I don't want gutter stuff and all that. And for me, I said this the other day, again, another TV company, we'd like to come and talk to you about game shows and all that. And I said, look, I'm really not seeking a job here.
No.
But everywhere I go in the world, I work to standing ovations, hysterical laughter, and I come back here, and all you want to do is interview me.
Yes.
I said, when you start using talented people again, I might qualify.
Give me a ring. Yeah, I understand that. I agree with you, yeah. I think the reality shows have come down.
You don't sound big-headed. So I said, I might qualify.
Yeah. The celebrity shows, I haven't enjoyed these. I went on the salon myself, actually, with Uri, and, that was just a little side thing. I saw you on there one day. You went on that. It was a one-day event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's no problem, but I didn't like some of these shows. The celebrity one he went on, it's okay, in my opinion, it's primetime telly, but of course, once again, it's in the negative aspect, because they're putting people through these humiliation situations, aren't they?
They do indeed. Joe Pasquale is a very funny man. Why is he in a box with rats?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, have I missed a link here somewhere? And when you talk to the producers of these things, they've got no idea. And they say, oh, we're getting 3 million viewers, 4 million viewers. We got 15 or 16 million. And don't tell me that it's because there's more choice. Well, there isn't more choice.
No.
Just more channels.
That's right.
All showing the same crapola.
Yes, that's right. Most people don't rate most of the channels, I agree. It's the quality intent.
Yeah.
It's back to that again, and it's time that people should wake up to this fact, I think. So, you know, it'd be nice to see some good entertainment back on professional. You know.
One day.
Yeah. How's the boating going then? Are you enjoying it? I understand you've got a boat down there.
Yes, and now it's starting to get windy and stuff, and she doesn't handle the wind very well, so she's going to be put away for the winter.
I went out on a yacht a month ago, a friend. It's a 30-odd-foot yacht from Liverpool. We did about 8 miles down the coast. We did 6 knots on the way back. When I got back, I said to him, yeah, it's good that. 45 degree angle on the boat, lovely and windy, enjoyed it. How far have you been before? I said, I've never been anywhere but just to the edge of the harbour. It was the furthest he'd ever been. And I thought, this guy's a regular sailor. Little did I know.
In the future, you'll check your crew.
Exactly, yeah. But it was good. I enjoyed that, you know. But where do you live in Sonning, by the way? I read the thing.
No.
You don't, do you?
Near Henley-on-Thames.
Ah, okay, not so near.
I pass Yuri's house a lot.
Yeah, when he's walking
when I'm
the
out
dog.
on the boat, yeah.
When he's
I should call in, I never have.
Sorry?
I should call in, but I never have, you know.
By all means, I know he's got good regards for you, you know.
Yeah, he's always on, you know. Probably you must come and visit.
I'm going to give him a ring after this and tell him I've been talking to you, because I know he admires your work.
But wind him up, sir. He said you were a load of old rubbish, Yuri.
Yeah, I will do that, yeah. Thank you ever so much for a very, very interesting conversation.
You take care.
Really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Paul.